when faith and preparation combine. The road been right here all this time, but you gotta look with more than your eyes. And the small acts Jesse representing for I just our mindset, rich forever.
No. Then we Praise of the Lord, break it to Peter. Yea, the Lord break it to Peter of What Emmanuel Rastafari. Yes, the children of Father, our Father. And I tried him with the black Christ. Over the prison, all of the captive, we feature the mighty Yama. Advice for the mullah, change of kings to laws of slaughter. Now should we evermore, mighty God in Zion. Selassie, Rastafari. Break down the bread of life that Lord to me. As out of the virgin of beside the sea. Beyond thy sacred page I sing the Lord. My spirit pants to the old living word. Freedom, redemption, international repatriation is our cry. Free water away as we enchant. Yes, but now you're playing against the water, Babylon as we enchant. Blessed is the man that walks out in the counsel of the God, in all seated in the seat of the sun. Selassie, right. Honorable prophet, John, let loose the black tiger, eat them in down from Kampala. Rinsing and tearing, cutting and clearing. Wipe out the wicked in 1 hour judgment. I wonder where the white men are going. For we want them to come out of Africa. Not even a white bird shall fly over the land instead of our father. John! Marcus, Selassie, voice of my supplications and my cry, O Lord. Hearken unto thy spirit, for I put my trust in thee. Hearken unto my cry, Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Smite mine enemies, continue, smite them off their feet. All mine oppressed, condemn none, O Lord. Deliver me from the handful of mine enemies. Right, O Lord. Give thanks for thy begotten Son, thy Holy One, who shall redeem the world from sin, who shall bless his people with peace. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Rastafari.
Rock them and crack them. You're in tune to the mindset. Let the action speak. Do something that's timeless. Rock them and crack them. Jabari representing Star. You gone far.
Into one vast organization to plant the banner of freedom on the great continent of Africa. If Europe is for Europeans, then Africa is for the black peoples of the world. Men and women as black as I am, and even more so, had believed themselves white under the West Indian order of society. I was simply an impossible man to use openly the term Negro, yet everyone beneath his breath was calling the black man a nigger. I had to decide whether to please my friends and be one of the black whites of Jamaica and be reasonably prosperous, or come out openly and help improve and protect the integrity of the black millions and suffer. I decided to do the latter. There is no future for a people who deny their past. My foreparents, my grandparents, my mother and father did not suffer and die to give me an education to oppress, slight, or discourage my people. Whatsoever education I acquired out of their sacrifice of over 300 years, I shall use for the salvation of the 400 million Negroes of the world. On the day when I forsake my people, may God Almighty say there shall be no more light for you. I unequivocally rejected the racist assumptions of much white American Christianity, namely that God had created the black man inferior and that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, hewers of wood and drawers of water. I predicated my view of man and the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men, regardless of color, were created in the image of God. From this premise followed the equality of all men and also the brotherhood of all men. The biblical injunction of Acts 17:26 reminds us that he created of one blood all nations of men to dwell on the face of the earth. I was most interested in brotherhood within his own race. If Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God must in some sense be black. If the white man has the idea of a white God, let him worship his God as he desires. We have found a new ideal. Whilst our God has no color, yet it is human to see everything through one's own spectacles. And since the white people have seen their God through white spectacles, we have only now started out to see our God through our own spectacles. We believe in the God of Ethiopia, the everlasting God, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost, the one God of all ages. That's the God in whom we believe, for we shall worship him through the spectacles of Ethiopia. Do you know what it means to be a man? To be a man is to bear resemblance of the Creator, the image of the Creator. If you are conscious of the fact that you are created in the image of the Creator, then you are a man. Man is a religious being, that is to say, he must have some kind of belief, call it superstition or not. Man who has started to think traces his origin beyond man, and such has been groping in the dark to find out the source from whence he came, and by our own intuition, we have attributed that source to something beyond us, and in so believing, we accept the idea of a religion. Some make our God a God of fire, some make our God a God of water, some make our God a God of elements, and others of us accept the Christian belief. Man's religion is something we cannot eliminate from his system or destroy in him. Therefore, it is folly for any man to go about attacking another man's religion, because to him it is fundamental. You may be a Christian, you may be a Mohammedan, that is your religion. We are all entitled to our religious beliefs. Some of us are Catholics, some of us are Presbyterians, some of us are Baptists, and we deem it a right to adhere to our particular belief. The white world has always tried to rob and discredit us of our history. They tell us that Tutankhamun, the king of Egypt, who reigned about the year 1350 BC, was not a black man, that the ancient civilization of Egypt and the pharaohs was not of our race. But that does not make the truth unreal. Every student of history of impartial mind knows that we once ruled the world, when white men were savages and barbarians living in caves, that thousands of Negro professionals at that time taught in the universities of Alexandria, then the seat of learning. No black man shall be truly respected until the race as a whole has emancipated itself through self-achievement and progress from universal prejudice. The black man will have to build his own government, industry, art, science, literature, and culture before the world will stop to consider him. Until then, we are but wards of a superior race and civilization and the outcasts of a standard social system. One of our problems historically is that we have always been reacting to initiatives taken by other people. To fight for African redemption does not mean that we must give up our domestic rights. It does not mean that we must become disloyal to any government or to any country wherein we were born. We can be as loyal American citizens or British subjects as the Irishman or the Jew, and yet fight for the redemption of Africa and complete emancipation of the race. We believe in the United States Constitution for the Americans, but we stand for the idea of Africa for the Africans. It is not our intention, our purpose to send all black people back to Africa. No. Those of us who go to Africa will become pioneers, pilgrim fathers of the new nation. It is the decision of the black man to make Africa a nation to which we can look for help and support, moral and physical, when ill-treated or abused for being black people. A strong man is strong everywhere. The first black heavyweight boxing champion of the world was Jack Johnson. He was a strong man, and he was strong everywhere he went. He had beaten his white opponents in Australia, he had beaten them in the United States, and he can beat them wherever they presented themselves. The African race could be like Jack Johnson. If it became strong in Africa, then it could be strong everywhere. For 250 years, we have struggled under the burden and rigors of slavery. We were brutalized, we were maimed, we were killed, we were ravaged in every way. We are men, we have souls, we have passions, we have feelings, we have hopes, we have desires like any other race. The cries raised all over the world of Canada for the Canadians, of America for the Americans, of England for the English, of France for the French, of Germany for the Germans. Do you think it unreasonable that we, the blacks of the world, should raise a cry of Africa for the Africans? The Negro is a man. We represent the new Negro. His back is not yet to the wall. We do not want his back to the wall because that would be a peculiar and desperate position. We do not want him there. It is because of this that we are asking for a fair compromise. The Belgians have control of the Belgian Congo, which they cannot use. They have not the resources to develop, nor the intelligence. The French have more territory than they can develop. There are certain parts of Africa in which you cannot live at all. Now it is for you to come together and give us a United States of Africa. We are not going to be a race without a country. God never intended it, and we are not going to abuse God's confidence in us as men. We are men, human beings, capable of the same acts as any other race, possessing under fair circumstances the same intelligence as any other race. Africa has been sleeping, not dead, only sleeping. Today Africa is walking around not only on its feet, but on its brains. You can enslave, as was done for 300 years, the bodies of men. You can shackle the hands of men. You can shackle the feet of men. You can imprison the bodies of men, but you cannot shackle or imprison the minds of men. Dive down, black men, and dig. Reach up, black men and women, and pull all nature's knowledge to you. Turn you around and make a conquest of everything, north and south, east and west. And then when you have wrought well, you will have merited God's blessing. You'll have become God's chosen people, and naturally you'll become leaders of the world. And as you bow down to the white man today, so will other races bow down to you and call you a race of masters because of the superiority of your minds and your achievements. No race has the last word on culture and on civilization. You do not know what a black man is capable of. You do not know what he's thinking. You are thinking in terms of battleships, of dreadnoughts, of submarines, of aeroplanes. Do you know what we are thinking about? That is our own private business. So give us credit for being able to use our minds, and with people becoming conscious of themselves, determined to use their minds, you do not know to what extent they can go. Liberate the minds of men, and ultimately you will liberate the bodies of men. Do you know that the black man is thinking in terms of perpetual motion? He's also thinking in terms of the hidden mysteries of the world, and you do not know what the oppressed and depressed by virtue of his condition and circumstance may give to the world as a surprise. Do you know that when men are forced to do things, they do them with greater effect than when they're not forced to do them? Are you going to force us into a corner where we have to think and think evil? For God's sake, do not force 280 million black men to think evil as to be a menace to the world. Do not force us to think that way. Give us a chance to live in ease as you are living, so that we can bring out those latent hidden powers which made a Newton, give us a Huxley and a Darwin. We are capable of giving such men to the world if forced into a corner to think. We are a peace-loving people. We love humanity. We love the white race, not for social fellowship, but in the common brotherhood that God intended we should live. What satisfaction can anyone get in being happy and see his brother wallowing in dirt, filth, and disease? How can men feel happy living in luxuries when others are living in disease? And then when someone tries to help the other out of the disease, the subtle culprit talks about disloyalty. My greatest desire is to see all humanity happy, whether white, yellow, or black, because I know God made this wonderful world for all mankind. The black men of Carthage, the black men of Ethiopia, the black men of Egypt, of Timbuktu and Alexandria gave the light of civilization to the world. Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God, and princes shall come out of Egypt. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. The race that leads another is always a race of masters, and the race that is led will always remain a race of slaves. They have given leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. We have decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. The great scholars, after passing through our schools, their colleges, their universities, have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it, Assyria did it, France under Napoleon did it, Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it, Great Britain under William Pitt Earl of Chatham did it, America under George Washington did it, Africa with 400 million black people can do it. If you cannot do it, if you are not prepared to do it, then you will die. You race of cowards, you race of imbeciles, you race of good-for-nothings. If you cannot do what other men have done, what other races have done, what other nations have done, then you had better die. Can we do it? We can do it. We shall do it. We have prayed to God for the vision and for leadership, and He Himself is now our leader, and He has given us a universal vision, a vision that will not limit our possibilities to America, a vision that will not limit our possibilities to the West Indies, but a vision that says there must be a free and redeemed Africa. If we must solve this American problem, if we must solve the West Indian problem, we shall solve it only for the glory of a great empire. We shall solve it only for the glory of a great dominion, a great republic upon which the sun will never set. Whatsoever man has done, man must do. And methinks, looking into your eyes, I see great warriors rising up in the cause of African freedom. Methinks I see in the eyes of some of you men a Brutus, reading in his tent at Philippi, a Richard Coeur de Leon bearing down on the galleons of Spain, and Napoleon storming the bridge of Lodi. Yea, men looking into your eyes, methinks to see a crowned prince storming the forts at Verdun. Yea, more a Marshal Joffrey marching before the French artillery to win at the Marne, everlasting glory for France. And in the eyes of some of you women, I see a Florence Nightingale rising up to do service, not in the Crimean battlefield, but the battlefields of Africa, leading the hundreds and thousands of Black Cross nurses, following the millions of African legions who shall march out to do battle for the everlasting glory of Africa. I see a Joan of Arc, not the white woman of France, but a black woman of Africa, snatch up the flag of the red, the black, and the green, and say to 400 black men, follow me. Shall we make it? By the Almighty and the eternal heavens we have pledged to make it. Give us a standard bearer of Christ, let him lead and we will follow. Christ the crucified, Christ the despised, we appeal to you from the great memories of the past. We appeal to you for help, for succor, and for leadership. When you endeavor to carry your burden up the heights of Calvary, when white men scorned you, when white men spurned you, when white men spat upon you, when white men pierced your side out of which blood and water gushed forth, it was a black man in the name of Simon the Syrian who took the cross and bore it on the heights of Calvary. So now, when we are climbing our Calvary, the burden being heavy, we ask that you help us on up the journey up the heights. Surely we shall not turn back. The cause is grand, the cause is glorious. Sail on, O mighty ship of state, sail on. We shall not stop now. We shall sail on until the red, the black, and the green is perched upon the hilltops of Africa. Classes, nations, and races which have been quite quiet for over 4 centuries, and who has been the hewer of wood and drawers of water for other men, who has merely borne abuse, insult, and humiliation for many generations, whose patience, docility, and forbearance can only be compared to the prophet Job, has likewise lifted his bowed head and raised it up to God's skies and cried out, I am a man, and a man's chance and a man's treatment in the world. Black people had always been oppressed because of our race. We should therefore strive to put our own racial self-interest first in everything we do. We should support our own businessmen, professionals, writers, athletes, and so on, provided that these persons also have their people's interest at heart. Black people should see beauty in their own kind and not try to bleach their skins or otherwise look like what we're not. In the days of slavery, miscegenation, or race mixture had occurred because the African woman had no protection from the slave master. So there is now no need for black people to themselves freely continue a practice that smacks so much of slavery. Our critics say that the race problem will be solved through higher education, through better education, that black and white will come together. That day will never come until Africa is redeemed. If those who, like W.E.B. Du Bois, believe that the race problem can be solved in America through higher education, they will work between now and eternity and never see the problem solved. God made man Lord of his creation, gave him ownership and possession of the world, and you have been so darned lazy that you have allowed the other fellow to run away with the whole world, and now he's bluffing you and letting you know that the world belongs to him and that you have no part in it. I do not have to apologize to anybody for being black, because God Almighty knew what he was doing when he made me black. If black people knew their glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves. I shall teach a black man to see beauty in himself and be hanged to the man who said shall not be so. You've heard of Johnny Walker. Well, he had his adversities and he's still going strong, but I intend with your assistance and God's grace to continue. And my work has just begun, and when the history of my suffering is complete, then future generations will have in their hands the guide by which they shall know the sins of the 20th century. I know, and I know you too believe in time, but we shall wait patiently for 200 years if need be to face our enemies through our posterity. After my enemies are satisfied, in life or death I shall come back to serve, even as I've served before. In life I shall be the same, in death I shall be a terror to the foes of African liberty. If death has power, then count on me in death to be the real Marcus Garvey I would like to be. If I may come in an earthquake or a cyclone or plague or pestilence, or as God would have me, then be assured that I shall never desert you and make your enemies triumph over you. Will I not go to hell 1,000,000 times for you? If I die in Atlanta, my work shall not only then begin, but I shall live in the physical or the spiritual to see the day of Africa's glory. When I am dead, wrap the mantle of the red, the black, and the green around me, for in the new life I shall rise with God's grace and blessing to lead the millions up the heights of triumph with the colors that you well know. Look for me in the whirlwind or a storm. Look for me all around you, for with God's grace I shall come and bring with me countless millions of black slaves who have died in America and the West Indies, and the millions in Africa to aid you in the fight for liberty, freedom, and life. The civilization today has gone drunk and crazy with its power, and by such it seeks through injustice, fraud, and lies to crush the unfortunate. But if I'm apparently crushed by the system of influence and misdirected power, my cause shall rise again to plague the conscience of the corrupt. For this I'm satisfied, and to you I repeat, I'm glad to suffer and even die. Again I say, cheer up, for better days are ahead. I shall rise.
Mindset.
Blessed love, pleasant good morning, pleasant good evening, good night. Warm welcome, royal art celebration to one and all. I want to greet the item in the divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, and also Empress Menin I, Holy Emmanuel I, King Selassie I Jah, Rastafari, Marcus I, King Selassie I Jah, Rastafari. One more day and we above ground and we giving thanks and praise as they I them know for I and I ultimate position, which is life. No greater than life, no matter what go on. Alright, so manners and respect, royal art of celebration again, one and all brothers and sisters from near and far, saying the 17th of August. Yeah. 17th of August. The birthday or the earth strong of Marcus Mosiah Garvey was born 1887. Yeah, the 17th of August. Over 130 odd years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The greatest prophet, one of the greatest black man to ever walk upon the surface here. And him come from off of the island of Jamaica. Yeah. Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Great. I tell you. And as the program progress, Zane, we are opening up the phone line is really a continuation. Really a continuation of first night reasoning. Yeah. I know it was a very powerful reasoning. We had probably about 4 to 5 hours long. Saying so year ones was saying that a part 2 is required, so here it is, here we are. I want to say bless up to everyone in the chat room. Empress Ashley, Honorable Priest, Guidance, IRS, Manners and Respect, saying David Turner, yeah man, Manners and Honors. So through public demand and ones are saying that we need to do a part 2, so we're there tonight with the part 2, seeing a continuation of where we left off. Yeah, is the Rastafari movement the most influential culture in the 21st century? That is what we were looking at last night, and we're going to continue to look at it tonight, knowing that tonight is the night, the birth night of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the man who we would say really jumpstart the Pan-African agenda and movement and the whole Rastafari movement, because the Rastafari movement really a birth out of the Pan-African movement still. You see me, I said due to the Marcus Garvey movement. See? The UNIA. Now, me say I hold for one type some things more while I'm dropping at the chat room. I think I might have seen it twice. That the Rastafari movement started in America through the UNIA, and let me just tell you, that is nonsense. Yeah, Rastafari movement started in Jamaica. Yeah, that is where it started, not in New York. Not in New York. Started in Jamaica. Where is Marcus Garvey born? In Jamaica. Not New York. Jamaica. Zane, and some of the New York and American, black American, them said one. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them work together with white supremacy to bring down Marcus Garvey. Some of the black Americans, them sell out Marcus Garvey. Is in America Marcus Garvey was sent to prison, Not Jamaica. In America. Some of the same black Americans. I don't know if they didn't like Marcus. I don't know if I don't know what it was. Other than I know them, some of them take side. Them take side. And listen, this is not the first time, And don't think that I'm having a go at my black African virgin and sister in America. I'm not having a go. I can pull up evidence. Marcus Garvey is one, Zane, that I would say black Americans working together with white supremacy pulled down Marcus Garvey, and they pulled down others before, Zane, or after that. Malcolm X was one of the latest one. Malcolm X is some black Americans shoot him down. It wasn't anyone else. It was some black Americans. And Malcolm X was his parents was Garveyites. In the days when Marcus Garvey was running things, his mother and father, they were students of Marcus Garvey. And even the prophet Elijah Muhammad, he also was a student of Marcus Garvey. See? But you had black Americans that, for whatever reason, self-hating, decided that them go follow white supremacy and bring down Malcolm X like how they brought down Marcus Garvey. But they would have brought down Malcolm X more terrible. They took his life away from him, right in front of his wife and was it in front of his wife and children? So, but yeah, Marcus Garvey is the forerunner. Yeah, that really started everything. And Marcus Garvey come and tell us, say, yo, black man, you know what I mean, start civilization. Africa civilization started. And of course you have others before Marcus Garvey, like, Booker T. Washington and probably Frederick Douglass and them virgin there. You see me? But what Marcus Garvey came with, Marcus Garvey come with a different level of intellect, which was really aimed to organize and centralize in his people to bringing them back home to Africa out of a slave system that was run by Americans. You see, Marcus Garvey always wanted to bring back home his people. See? Yeah. Yeah, I want to large up everyone there with we in the chat room. Don't forget to hit that like button. Royal family. Yes, Honorable Empress Ashley, give thanks. Empress Brandy. Yahim Gonzalez. Yeah, bless up. Raja Gonzalez. Family in our place. 7 miles of Black Star Line are coming in the harbor. Coming in the harbor. Just imagine, if people, if equal rights, if people have equal opportunity, just imagine how much the Black Star Liner would be doing for the whole world today. For the whole world. Zin? But people are so I don't want to really use any strong, harsh words. You know what I mean? But people are so malicious that they don't want to see you strive. You know what I mean? They don't want to see you strive. And just imagine, look, what black people was coming out of during them time in America. The Europeans were never been through that. What African people was coming out of. And we were coming out of a real terrible situation. And to be able to manage to buy ships, set up banking system, Black Wall Street, all these things. And then people don't want to see us strive. People really don't want to see us strive. And them should have said, boy, Jano, yeah, you know what I mean? Them people, look what them are come out at. Make we even strengthen them things some more because they're really resilient to, you know what I mean? Because we do everything to impede them, but they just keep riding the wave. They just keep, going over these hurdles. You know what I mean? Every hazard that we throw in front of them, they just keep buffing and weaving around them. They keep, you know what I mean? They keep surviving. They keep on surviving. So make we give them a little bit of support. And it would have gone a long way, but instead of supporting, no. How is it that we we do all the worst things you can think of to you guys, but you guys still are here. You guys are still surviving. Why? Why are you still surviving when we are trying everything to exterminate you guys? What is it that keep you guys from withstanding and surviving all of this, all of this wickedness that we pour upon you, man? I wanna do it. That's why I always tell African people, black people, no matter the situation, no matter the position, know say greatness run in your blood. Greatness run in your DNA. Because it not take precare for still stand up in this. You understand? For where some guy put with you, it not take precare for still there. You see me say? No. Fenke would have never survive it. You see me say? But we're still here. After so many years, going through so much despair. But we're still here. One artist sings so them can see clearly now. The rain has gone. Can see all the obstacles that's in the way. So we know it might not be a clear path, but we can see the obstacles. We can see where the hazards are. We can see where we can bob and weave round being interrupted. Even though sometimes it's difficult being in a system that we have absolutely no control of. DOD. That is the abbreviation. Bless up yourself. Warm welcome. They say must be our melanin. Yeah, I think so. Must be our melanin. Can't. Them can't stand the Africans, uplifting. They can't stand that the African keeps surviving. We're not going away. We cannot go away. It is impossible for us to go away. It is impossible. You know what I mean? We cannot go away. Africa have the fastest, youngest population in the entire world. The fastest, youngest growing population in the whole entire world. We are not going anywhere. It is impossible. You hear them say all things are possible with God? Well, let me tell you this. It is impossible for us to go anywhere. Yeah? We cannot be extinct. We cannot be boldly saying that we cannot be. See? And anyone dare attempt that again, see, me nah ask. The whole of them gonna be annihilated. Anyone dare attempt to do that to the Africans them again, where them want wipe we out. Nightmare. Remember me telling you. You see me? Yes, so, you know, Marcus Garvey, we give thanks to Marcus Garvey because, you know, it's Marcus, the spirit of Marcus Garvey live in I and I. You see me? Why we have the mindset that we have. You know, a collective mindset. A nation building mindset. A brother and sisterhood mindset. You see me? Yeah, man, the spirit of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey couldn't do a better thing but born in Jamaica. See the intellect of the man. God choose to born anywhere he want to born still. Him choose Jamaica. Born in a Jamaica. 17th of August. You come back again tonight? No, sir. No. You come back again tonight? No, man. I don't know. I must send you come in at this place here. But anybody or anything send you come in here, you better take away yourself and don't make them get you in trouble. You understand? Nah, man, this thing I come back. It there last night, then it come back tonight. Yo, you know want to listen to me? Yo, them people are pay for them internet in the blood. You don't pay for anything. You just come in and just come joking on one side and a. No people, I can't. I don't like distraction, so I can't work with a something here. I can't work with a something here with me in here. So last God no, I cannot. I don't know, it's like it's a phobia. I can't. You know what I mean? I cannot. And it can't work in here. Unless me I go left it in here, it do it show, but me and it can't work.
Oh my Internationally, and also the international field, and must Garvey. We time for our world ourselves from creation to this very moment, and the runner and the host of Israelite people to bring forth all the loyalty and the artisan fulfillment that America should come in here and send a lot of money. All these world fortune will see that field, and no one to pay no mind. Because I don't for a short time, I see all these things, my Lord. So, when I want to put it on the shore of Ethiopia, or the shore of Liberia, no, they say, one want to put it on the shore of Jamaica, because we talk to the international vibe and the international culture, to our black sons and daughters of the earth, to the might of black supremacy and black dignified power, to the Heavenly Father, Heavenly glory of honor, Most High God of Sarah, Mission of Benigo, Almighty to see, Almighty to deliver, the sons and daughters, Lord God of Moses, Holy Rastafari. Redeem the words of Israel, Most High Father. Redeem us in all our places, in all our ways of love. Show the way of love, and let us find our first love, where thou create us. Redeem us in all our power, redeem us in all our strength and glory, redeem us in all our national, international rights of justice, Most High. Redeem and lift the house of Israel, the house of Jacob, Most High, the house of Abraham, Steve, Most High, mighty God of Daniel, the mighty God of David, O right of David, the house of David, Most High, the right sons and daughters, David the Father, the lift him up inside the men unto the Most High, It's not a David, you will not live my, you will not ride over at this time. If I ride over, make a beast, go upon me in the field, most high. But David sit on my right hand till I bring your enemy thy footstool. Just as he will world at this time, most high, Celestia, Jehovah. Lead us to the United Nations, body and head and our poor most high, to bring a human right to our people on the face of the earth, those in the prison, and those on the sidewalk, and those who sit on the tomb, and those on the slab, who are also on the sidewalk resting, and those under the tree, gather them so together in one spirit and truth and love, and build the United Nations to equal right and justice, to manifest all these things and rights of the people, of the have-nots, and the saints, and the refugees, scatter the black refugees, the black Ethiopian refugees scatter in Israel, Jamaica, Egypt, and all the Western world, Father. We ask for your mighty right and strength and power, and dominion black supremacy, to gather thy people in the foe, and those who are sent to redeem thy holy name, Father. Almighty great Messiah, Most High, Celestia, Rastafari, Holy Eye, Rastafari, Most High God, Jehovah. My Lord and my King, Son, my Lord, sit on my right hand, shall be daily thy footstool, Holy Eye, Rastafari. Yeah, you know, I have my Garvey birthday this day. They had to give thanks to the mighty powers, you know. I chose it to him. That black heart, the black philosophy, you know. They show you word to love the black self. They show you word to not to live yourself and hit the self and to love the white world. We are white world, you are enemy. I say white world, what the enemy, we are enemy. So tell us Africa what the South, and I know that they don't turn the black eye to look upon us, to give us a right. Right now, all the right now to put on the world, not a slave continually. Hold on this thing we continue, oh Lord. Hold on the wicked side of our people. Bring them down and feed them upon and trample upon them. Cut them down, most high God, the whole Rastafari, Celestia. Arise, O Lord, and let not men live here forever, but them in fear of Most High Jehovah. I know the Father of Zion, you give thanks and pray for your mighty strength and power. Knowing the law of Moses ever stand out, and know the grace and truth of the substance of the righteousness himself. Know the Most High in the Revelation 18, and say Elizabeth, our one judgment come, Most High Celestia. In all anything, all it is, maybe not a partake of them, because of that moment, you know. You know, and I don't see it, you know, right, so you know, they take heed to them. They come out of my people, a partake of the things. They didn't say them words, you know, and what they oppress the funny, you know, we show it there, you know, but them words, they do not start, the word not right, the word not truthful, you know. They were not alive, they were dead words, they give out to dead things, and everything, you know. But I say, we all know that's a God, we all know that's a God, and we know that's a God, that's a God, you see? God is this everyone, no time, that's a let us start to the fullness, you know. So I say, Father, my son, was everything. Get understanding, you know? And if I get understanding, you have everything at a fullness, so that Father shows, you know? And we say to tell my son to take, you know, take counsel, you know? But if I can take counsel, my Father said, we are all right, you know? We are counsel good for everyone to really counsel ourselves to be right, and counsel ourselves to be good, you know? Of the Black Christ, you know, philosophy, and the Black Christ commandment, you know. Because if we don't take counsel of ourselves, and reason of ourselves, Christ will come by the reason to one to the other. You come away among yourself. You must have truth for yourself. Come away among yourself. That's solid and a solid foundation. As an international right for the approval in this time. And a full redemption by the house of Israel. But when I about Garvey, was in Jamaica, you know, and when leave. They show every right and we say that we could live. God also give us a commandment, we could not die. They already know. We say, we will not love one another. And Lord command us to do. And do to all others, do us and to us. Tell the prophet and everybody, you come and show us. It's the same like I brought among ourselves. And we say where we are come from. We will be all coming up, all our development, all our development of mind and heart. In Africa, we must really see and find out how it's right to ourselves. Development of ourselves, of our black self, development of our black culture, our black government, our black kingdom, our black life among ourselves. The natural approval among ourselves, God is right among ourselves, we take away our darkness among ourselves. Let it be like a fire. It's a murder, fire wild and fire foolish. No? So we have, take our eye in the lamp, the eye of truth, the eye of right, the eye of love, the eye of our power, and you could see, to give a bright shining glory around us, in our heart, soul, and body. So let's see the natural God we're dealing with. Don't say about the God in flesh, don't say the come out being God in flesh. You must have God reality, you must have black God reality. So when we say good, let's say how we come. Let me tell you one answer, say how we come. I say we could get an answer. If I will make yourself, I will create yourself. Then, if I will create yourself, we are the God then. I say, God is then. So what we do, we can give yourself life, itself. We bring one from the father, bring one brother from in language, and the mother, they see in the home, and bring forth a child, you know, they find a girl, a boy, and a girl. Then, you see, so we know, say, we got that and that, say, in the family way, you see, so then we know it come, you see, so it come away, but the man who goes out, this special, understanding. We turn back against it, and hard against it. What I love, we follow about ourselves. Then you leave no leave, we destroy you continually, because if my whole step life now, I don't defend you, you leave him and down, and God to do it for him, God will destroy. You never get destroyed too, because you keep them up. Then, well away, from the one we were destroyed with, and come the one who you never get destroyed with, yeah, you come back to the black Christ. Sons and daughters, yes, you know. Sons and daughters, give them heart, and I give them fire in the kingdom. Yes, take our word now, this is our word, you know. Yes, sir. They say, but let's tell you, God. Yes, but
yeah. Songs of the Honorable Prince Emmanuel. Yeah. Talking about, you know, reasoning and the Honorable, Right Honorable Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Earthstrong. Zane. Yeah. And continue playing that throughout the program still. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes, honorable family, give thanks. It's an honor and a pleasure to have the item here. Please push the like button. That is important. Liking the video. We want as much people to get the message, and we want as much people to be a part of the conversation. See? The phone line is open. We're taking calls on 07852923892. Saying there them can call we on the WhatsApp. Alright, I'm gonna drop a link in the chat room that the item can you know, can have a conference. I think, yeah, we can have a conference call. So more than one people can join the call. I think that is good. So there them can link we on 07852923892. See, that's a WhatsApp link. We're taking calls, and the topic, continuing from first night, is Rastafari, the most influential culture in the 21st century. What say you? I say yes, it is. You know what I mean? And we're going right across the board, as we did first night, as the them can say. We never, pick and choose where we are going with the reasoning with us. Was reasoning. You see it? Yeah. So, we're going to drop a link in the chat room here now. Yeah, I'll drop a link. You can call me on that link. Alright. Just join the link, and yeah, it should be okay. Yeah, join the link. Join the link. Yes, honorable family. So Rastafari, the most influential culture in the 21st century. What say you? Yeah. What say you? What say you? And when Marcus Garvey, one of the pioneer, pioneer, forerunner. Which one of them something I make the thing go down here, so Yeah, this. No. Absolutely not. Yeah. But as you know, Marcus Garvey, the forerunner, as you say, him really, start the thing. Marcus Garvey started it. If Marcus Garvey never started, who would? Who would? So we have to give thanks to Marcus Garvey. Yeah. We give thanks to Emperor Haile Selassie the first, yes. But we have to give thanks to Marcus, Can't forget Marcus. As much as all them keep him out of the schools, the schooling system where you would expect that this man should be a part of the curriculum, Yeah. The youths them should be knowing about this man, because if you can teach the youths them about Christopher Columbus, see, if you can teach the youths them about Napoleon, yeah, if you can teach the youths them about John Hawkins, Frederick Drakes, if you can teach the people about all of them people, which nothing is wrong with history. Yeah, and you teach these, and if you can go as far as teach them about what the next virgin name, Shakespeare. Then, for crying out loud, man, you must could teach them about Marcus. You must could tell them something about Marcus. Something about Marcus must could be in the school's curriculum. You see me? Yeah. Red, black, and green for life. Something in the school about Marcus. But nothing. Nothing. You know, especially in Jamaica. We can't say about the rest of places them, but you know, in Jamaica. In Jamaica, Selassie High School, Emperor Haile Selassie High School in Kingston, you should be getting, you know, people should be, you know, doing subjects, you know, are doing a whole degree on Marcus Garvey life. You see me? I saw Rasta should have that school there. The Emperor School. The school that the Emperor set up and gave Rastas in Jamaica. I'm not talking about worldwide now. I'm talking about inner Jamaica, because there's enough Rasta in Jamaica to make things happen the right way in the school. Then, where Emperor Haile Selassie gave. I see videos where people are complaining and say, boy, Jano, the school look away, man. The rest of them should be ashamed of themselves. I say, wow. And you have to just call a spade a spade. That is the reality of the situation, ain't it? The amount of Rasta where make all for money in Jamaica, and Emperor Haile Selassie give one schools, set up one school, and it like it not get no support from the Rastafari community. Then, and Emperor Haile Selassie set up that school there. It's just like the Virgin I said last night that the EWF, Rasta supposed to join the EWF just because is the Emperor set it up. Then, just because is the Emperor set it up. Yes, one could join it, yes. As I say, but me no feel say, boy, you should join it solely because is the Emperor set it up. You see me I say? Because the reality of the situation, you know, is Rastafari praise His Majesty, you know. It's not the other way around. It's not His Majesty praise Himself. It's not His Majesty praise Himself, you know. It's the Rastafari people and praise Him. It's the Rastafari people build a culture around the Emperor. Then, based on the Emperor teachings, liberty, life, then. So when people now want to say, boy, oh, you're supposed to join this because it's the Emperor set it up. No, it's not so to go. So upon the flip side, when I say about the school, Rasta should have really that school should be one of the high-tech school in Jamaica. All of the people them, all of the uptown people them, seeing all of the big school so-called big school where people pay all heap of money for go. Haile Selassie High School should have been the top judgment ball school in Jamaica where people pay X amount of money. Because the grades and the levels that the youths them were graduate from the school. No youth no graduate without 14 subjects. No youth. That is the standard of the school. But that standard is nowhere to be found. It's just a fleeting illusion at the moment. You see me, I say? So even though Rastafari is the most influential culture in the 21st century, there's still a lot of things that we could be doing better that we are not doing. And it's right in front of our eyes. You see me? Right in front of our eye. And we're not doing it. So, we are take calls on the WhatsApp 07852923892 or the link in the chat room, the top of the chat room there. Them can connect from the link, and yeah, we can have a conference reasoning through the link. All right, through the link we can have a conference reasoning. All right, so just press the link and it'll go through the WhatsApp. All right, so that's how we are connect through, and we are take calls. We're taking calls. It's not a one-way street. We are just I alone a reason. You see me I say? It's a collective effort. See? So just press the link in the chat room. See? Just press the link in the chat room, top of the chat room. And yeah, make we communicate through this. So. See? Yeah. Alright, anyone who have to come live, them can come live through this. So. Alright, don't be shy now. Alright, don't be shy. It's only I just star. Alright? Yeah, man. And we don't bite. See it? So don't be shy. We are take calls on 07852923892. There them can link me on the WhatsApp. Zane. Yeah. If that's more convenient for the item. The link is in the chat room. It's tagged at the top of the chat room. Use that link to come live and reason. Alright? More people, more than one people can connect to the link. Alright? So, we are take calls right there, sir. Okay. Over there now. Sponsor of the program, YardSlangz Clothing. Yeah. YardSlangz Clothing.
YardSlangz, wait there. Somebody say something about Jamaican patois and style and fashion. Yes, to Ras, me search the other day online and pop up on a new, authentic Jamaican clothing brand. Wow, one of the latest and newest one. In a t-shirt, hoodie, slippers and woman's bag. And a whole heap of things that we not even mention. Search online for more information. YardSlangz, hit them with a bang.
Yeah, YardSlangz Clothing. Yeah, man, check them out online. See? Yeah, check them out online. Sponsor the program here, Mindset program, YardSlangz Clothing. Check them out. www.YardSlangClothing.com. Alright? Yeah, man. So, yeah, we're taking calls. It's a two-way street, alright? We're taking calls. Let's reason. Don't be shy. Alright? I'm going to go and play Prince Emmanuel while, you know what I mean, we wait for some call. Yeah. So it's set.
There's a son, you can't find another son and daughter. Give me your heart, and I give you my Father of a living kingdom. You see, this time was life, man, and life of a kingdom there. Yeah? But when I want to know, serve him, and when you do this to God, look at 2 words I know. We say, look, for it to you, and we shall look, and look at that, and see you. You see, that's and see you, no surety, no loyalty to the doctor, you see? But you want to give that heart, right there, we have a heart for our kingdom, and we have a heart for our kingdom, the heart is flesh. So when you tell prophets will be the kingdom, you see. But when you go down, God don't say first thing, you can't go say God kingdom, because you know where much up, where you know life, you put everybody again. Then we put with eyes, but when you do it, everything you call about much up, and God do corruption. Holy eyes! And you cannot tell where like God by the time. So you see, so they go away. And the Bible said, everyone does different about heaven. You always shout up. You see, you always shout up because less good upon the earth and less bad upon the earth. But you want right, I said no. You're the first rule, I said no. The first creator and maker. He said no. You want to know? He said no. Go and numberless on the side of the seashore, most high. Rastafari. This is the authority. This can support all who say one nobody. And we can go see second to 100% and call the street there. You see? So it's peculiar. And when you look at the world now, right now, you find that the black way of the string, because the population. No. Here is the rule again. He said, if all I want takes so long to bring back the flesh of the one, a baby, so baby shall have baby. Yeah? Children shall have children, most times. So the baby you must choose. It says that take children to be my children. Oh, yeah. And I see some world parts from the village, they've been attending a birth control, started last, brother, you know. I got them go for the bar, that's the man, they did for battle. But you know, when I run through it, I don't tell them mean. But I have a machine for that already, you see? And I don't know if the empress, I know in their slavery, they always have a stomach, and a belly. They always said, one white boy, they said, it's a girl. One said, it's a boy. They said, let's have it. You see? And then when I saw it, you know, I dropped it, you know. But I don't want to do that, you know, because you're enslaved. You see? Yeah? And I mean, they don't get every step again because you turn your back into God. Oh, so that's it. Yeah. And I would like everyone, when I see, you know, they're listening keenly and take it in time. And I open, you say, what I talk here about the fulfilling. You know? So if you know, the one how I can talk with you goes, you know, and I have no trouble. You know? So you see, and I like a job in the bill, you know, you better retire to Diego more time. You are trouble, you have a time with him. Don't be afraid, You say that you fear him, our fear him to know what he will do amongst our returns more time. He's a loving Savior. He's a true Savior. He's a right Savior. He's a humble Father for us all. He's one modesty for us all. He's in the lily valley. He's a bright and morning star most times. That's right. Yeah. That's it. Well, you know about Garvey, I did Mr. Garvey. At the time I am first brother, principal identity in this earth, birth again, reincarnation, and this whole night, fulfill in mighty words, and mighty word, in performing the earth, 70 times at the tower, and I could get here tonight, and die for ourselves, in honor of being a Jones, by the hymn books and black supremacy books, and royal yard, and royal yard door, and going up on the royal altar, the black supremacy altar, with all the royal guests around, the things of mighty take part in the mighty celebration, and honorable Messiah Garvey at this hour, showing the natural right in the world among his people. When he said, the 23rd of last month, they said, I want fear and modesty, also reconciliation day, the things of power, the 99th birthday, he thanks and praise. I will say we are moving up from that time right up to the 17th of this night. We get time, we are research every night. Now we get time, try to 40 days and 40 nights. We live in the 40 and 5. Chant for freedom, redemption, repatriation of human God, with Black Africa, Black Ethiopia, Black Jerusalem, Black Shababa, Black heaven and heaven earth, Black God, Goddess of the earth, Most High Celestial. Oh, blessed and blessed Trinity and our
YardSlangz, wait there. Somebody say something about Jamaican patois and style and fashion. Yes, to Ras, me a search the other day online and buck up on a new, authentic Jamaican clothing brand. Wagwan are the latest and newest one in a t-shirt, hoodie, slippers and woman's bag. And a whole heap of other things I may not even mention. Search online for more information. YardSlangz, hit them with a bang.
One Father for us all, one Creator, one Maker, one Redeemer, one Great Shepherd, Most High Celestial. Yeah. Yea, I my shepherd, I want to make the land bless the water. Paradise of heaven, we will walk in the of I do it to die when I shall be comforted. You'll be pretty for us in front of our hands. So good and mercy for all the world life. Here, God's last year. Ever since the thought of the continent most high Jehovah. Ever build a unity with one to the other most high. Now I will walk for your strength and thy divine power. The power most high, the creator, to give our power of our heart, of our chest, of our people, most high. To the mighty thy giver, most high. A thousand years thy side like a even God, most high. Most high Jehovah. It's a fire let's see in the sun today. And I don't face will never see a most high. It's a very most high Celestial Jehovah. The Christ I show the black Christ of the world, show the world at this time, heathen world. Leave the world at this time. The Savior shall come and conquer all and Caesar, all and Stephen, all and and my heating, all and check and favor, all the king. And for one word pass away, heaven word pass away, most high Celestial. I shall see another power, we shall see the to come up of the earth and the power. I am about to say to Israel, by the loving one together, because I will come, the government to the ground of the head, to the top and body, all of the tears, set in. But we not a trouble man to the heart to draw the fear of them most high. That's the I have time will come, I am about to receive the word, time will come. There is a level in the parliament and scatter us, there was a street. We said no good to the black people in the world. Black people still gonna love the God. Black people still gonna love the black God and the black self. Only the black self that to love this day. Black people love the black God, black city worker love the black God. Black Jerusalem children love the black God, love the black God, the black self at the time. They tell the heart of the black heart of love. They love the heart of the black heart of righteousness. They love the heart of the heart of holiness. They love the heart of the heart of clean heart of clean heart. And for what Lord God and what see the continue most high Jehovah. Always lift one hand unto the hill cometh our help. Our help cometh unto the Lord who made the earth. Do not suffer our foot to move. We keep us as in a slumber. The whole who keepeth his lives in a summer of faith. The Lord your keeper, the Lord is shield and right hand. By his protector, so that's the man of my day and the moon by night. The Lord is there from all he the most high Celestial. He that was so grand out and coming in, he might to protect and might to redeem for holy eye. Rastafari. Heavenly Majesty, Heavenly Father, Heavenly God, and Heavenly God, we call upon the Son of power. Somebody country is wrong. Break down my mighty kingdom, this kingdom, his palace, his government, his government and cabinet, master internal. Transfer upon them, go Father, and bless them all in the turn of power. Let them have them poor more, cut down them poor more side to God to save thy children. We look at the sign and token and wonder from his government more side God Jehovah. Upon the evil world, European world, upon the evil world, European world. Bring them down to the Britain, America, Canada, the world, and France, and Italy, and about Germany, and around them down to the pit of destruction, the most high God, Jehovah. Yes, now call upon by the sea of power, and see how your prophets Garvey the moment pardon through at this time. So call upon the most high to get a call up here to speak about South Africa. To follow now to South Africa in 1950. He has shown me when he went to South Africa. Everyone will see what he did in South Africa. So call upon South Africa, to check Crown from Poland, South Africa ruling, also Jamaica ruling, more sides. So that's and get them out of the land, out of Africa entirely. I was simply to get out and be quiet in themselves. Right to fire the train to do the home. Send everyone to Garvey, everyone, and to get out of South Africa, out of the way. And we are the sons and daughters of African ascendants. And to a royal sons and daughters of the refugee to come home with that mighty power, to the mighty 24 hands, and 24 arms, to drive out of our heavenly hands, everything that most high God, Jehovah. As is the United Nations, to all the people, all the globe of the earth, for freedom and redemption for them all. Children come to be a right of a people, to bring forth an equal right and justice. To Article 1 of the man born equal. They are equal what the people equal right is. It's only right and they have none, and they have all equal. And have they have not, nothing. No one think about have that. You never call upon the United Nations. They never fear. You call upon all 25 parts of the United Nations worldwide. The clearance upon our head of government in Jamaica, Egypt, upon our families in Jamaica, on our cabinet, on the national, international rights for all black people, all no matter who we may be, the poor, and the poor, the white and the poor, they have a right, never China, they have a right, and the Indians have a right, and everything was a right, sons and daughters died, and slavery, ascendant, and refugee ascendant. We want to United Nations together, all rights of all these people rights, and gather and bring them back, and carry and get them back in Africa, sure, and call Africa, we are Africa state, and also head of state to come down and rectify with them down this country, Jamaica country, the state and families in the country, and serving all the rights of the country, to bring all the rights of all the black people in the world, so that it will be royal sons and daughters in the world, so that it's almighty power, the almighty deliverance, the almighty redemption, the almighty felicity, our right, the mighty redeem, the mighty freedom, and the retention, the translation, and the mighty philosophy, all the power, our that supremacy, and the unity of his love, one to the other, and to unite through creation power, through the glory of honor, and through the understanding of the world, wide philosophy, the casting on the field, and the terror of South Africa, and casting on the high sea, and all the white people in Southern Africa, casting out of the high sea, and Southern Europe, Africa the black, Africa by history and prophecy, and Europe the white by history and prophecy. Get out thy sons and daughters from all different countries of the world, and bring them back in the right country to work in Africa. Bring everybody, every heart to one heart. The heart of all that with one heart, Francine heart with one heart, then that evil will have no power, and say, yeah, it's why the most high, kill all the wicked, oh God, and save thy people, most save thy inheritance, the house of Jacob, most high, Selassie. The high heaven, the Father, and the high created Father, power, and we have to call upon their holy power, most high, and you win the heart of thy children, oh Father, unto thee. You turn the heart of the children unto the Father, and for the heart unto the house of Israel, thy royal son and daughter. O most high, give our heart of love and heart of righteousness, and heart of salvation. If anyone who come and tell you the word, you God your heart is place, is the man of God. And you want to come and say, you want to say, you got to spirit is on the Christ, because you are in the world. So Father, we ask you continue to continue upon the mighty works of righteousness and salvation. Most high, since you are in the bed, now you come to the bed, while we take out the left one. Two that is middle, while we take out the left one. Two on the host top, while we come down the left one.
Rastafari, bless and sanctify. Yeah, so yes, honorable family, I think we are about an hour left on the platform, yeah. Seeing? Yeah. And we are take calls on is Rastafari movement the most influential culture in 21st century. It's a continuation of the conversation that we was having first night yesterday. See, so we are take calls on that. You know, what your thoughts? What say you? All right. The WhatsApp link is in the chat room. There, them can press the link and it will bring you straight onto the WhatsApp, and we can have a conference call that way when one's use the link to join. Alright, so we're taking calls on 07852923892. Link with us also. Alright, yes, mindset family, Rastafari movement, most influential, in the 21st century. Reality. When we say artists like what's she name? She passed away. She transitioned, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Is an Irish sister. Yeah, she's a singer. Don't remember exactly what her name is. Is me? But it's an Irish singer. I think O'Connor. Something another O'Connor. She's called. And when I say Rastafari, I have, influence on an artist like she, say, yo, Rastafari is nothing to, is nothing to be played with, man. Yeah, Sarah Connor. Yeah, something like so. Yeah, man. I think may have the thing here so still, go and play it. The influence that Rastafari, and when me hear she express herself, in the way she express herself. And she do a lot of cover version of Rastafari reggae artists. You see me? She do a lot of cover songs from them, and she have a lot of big songs differently still. Nothing compares to you. I think that one a big song, but Yeah, I can't find this recording here.
But what I love about the Rastas is this thing of I and I, the use of the word I, where if I'm sitting talking to you, if I don't say, if I'm a Rasta, I don't say you have work to do, I say the I has. But what I love about the Rastas is this thing of I and I, the use of the word I, where if I'm sitting talking to you, if I don't say, if I'm a Rasta, I don't say you have work to do, I say the I has work to do. In other words, there's an acknowledgement all the time that when you and I are talking, it's God who's talking. It isn't our personalities, but God in you and God in me are having a conversation. So when I call you the I mean your soul, God in you. But what I love about the Rastas is this thing of I and I, the use of the word I, where if I'm sitting talking to you, if I don't say, if I'm a Rasta, I don't say you have work to do, I say the I has work to do. In other words, there's an acknowledgement all the time that when you and I are talking, it's God who's talking. It isn't our personalities, but God in you and God in me are having a conversation. So when I call you the I mean your soul, God in you has work to do. Do you see what I mean? Or whatever, you know. And I love that, the idea that God is present in every living person. And around Rasta people, you feel a magic. There is a magical, holy presence around those people, you know.
Sin? And she explained to her people. You know what I mean? She explained to her people. I'm going to play it again. It's quite interesting what she's saying.
But what I love about the Rastas is this thing of I and I, the use of the word I, where if I'm sitting talking to you, if I don't say, if I'm a Rasta, I don't say you have work.
You see the influence that Rastafari have in the 21st century? I and I. Now you have iPhone, iPad. You know what I mean? And she'll tell her, I and I, what it really means. She'll tell her next white brethren who interview her, what she love about Rastafari, the movement. So you see how influential the culture is. It's not a plaything, you see me I say? And, you know, you find out that even people
To do, I say, but what I love about the Rastas is
you find out that even people within where Rastafari, the movement is birthed, you know, they don't embrace it, they look down on it. And here is a European from a so-called first world country. She's telling you, and she's not a poor person. You know what I mean? She's not a poor person, but she'll tell you about Rastafari. She actually tell us that she's a Rasta, you know. And that she'll tell us that she's a Rasta, you know. You see me? She'll tell you about the influence, how it impact her life.
But what I love about the Rastas is this thing of I and I, the use of the word I, where if I'm sitting talking to you, if I don't say, if I'm a Rasta, I don't say you have work to do, I say the I has work to do. In other words, there's an acknowledgement all the time that when you and I are talking, it's God who's talking. It isn't our personalities, but God in you and God in me are having a conversation. So when I call you the I mean your soul, God in you has work to do. Do you see what I mean? Or whatever, you know. And I love that, the idea that God is present in every living person. And around Rasta people, you feel a magic. There is a magical, holy presence around those people, you know.
There's a holy, mystical, spiritual presence. Yeah. We're there, we are take calls on 07852923892. Then we're there until the top of the hour. It's 4:15. Yeah, 4:15 now in the morning. We're gonna be here until 5. Alright? Yeah. And about a call 5 to 5. Alright. Yeah. So we'll take calls. Yeah. People afraid for call tonight. I wonder why. So, what? When I think so Rastafari are the most influential culture in the 21st century. Okay. uh, Rastafari. Most influential. Yeah. I don't say anything that can compare or come near. You know what I mean? To Rastafari. Nothing to compare or come near. Nothing to compare or come near. Blessed love.
Yeah, blessed love, honorable my Lord.
Honorable my Lord. Royal Art of Celebration.
Royal Art of Celebration, honorable my Lord. Honorable John Marcus I
Selassie I.
God.
Rastafari.
Empress Menen, yes, my Lord. Our strength and power.
Yeah, man.
And it's a great time of celebration, you know. Prophet Brian, otherwise known as Rasayam, you know. Black
Majesty.
Star Movement Association, Majesty.
Yes,
yeah,
Baba.
man, just to take in the royal program, progress on the movement, you know. Mindset program, and give thanks for life and the continuation of such great works and highlighting the Rastafari culture, enough contribution to make to the world of people and the earth, humanity over the decades and thing, and you know. Yeah, man, as yesterday, first night, great conversation, same way highlighting the same. And I'm glad that I continue with this. Hopefully more ones can even call in and express themselves. Just take the opportunity to kick it off and express myself and my views and opinions, and you know. Yeah, and just like to give thanks, Honorable John Marcus Garvey, Pandis, dear, where I reside at the moment, different time zones, so I really reach the August 17th exactly as yet.
Yeah.
But we know say at them the time they in some places in the earth, they know where I reside. So give thanks in advance, same way, and even when the hour come through, same way, my Lord. But yeah, man, love Daddy Marcus Majesty. Yeah, because even before I reach I consciousness, we didn't say Rastafari. Marcus Mazia Garvey Majesty. When I find Marcus Garvey, I find I black self. You know, when I say, just, you know, because I born in Jamaica, forward a foreign, when I was young, and I woke up in some white people and different things, and the experience was, let's say, not so nice. You know, the disdain, the attitude, you know, you go and you do your thing, you do your local school, but we are human beings and we have feelings, so you can see the local sleight of hand, the little difference within treatment and different things, even though the white world want set themselves in these times, like we said, they're more fair and equal. It's not like the past, but far from it in terms of treatment and these things, my lord. So going to school and all these things, and you go through, you see what happened, been called nigger before for no reason, no fault of mine. Even have white friends, my lord. When I first reached in a foreign, specifically Canada, Toronto, Canada, I had white friends before I had black friends as a youth, my lord. Because the neighborhood that I live, I was probably one out of the two black people on the whole block. The rest is like an Italian. And being a Rasta today, sometimes I look back and say, judgment, but look there. From I was young, I come to Babylon and when I drop in our Italian neighborhood. Out of all the neighborhoods, an Italian neighborhood, my lord. Come like I feel like me is an Ethiopian amongst Italians or something, you know? And if you come rise up within the Rasta culture and learn about Ethiopia, then the World War II and His Imperial Majesty, my lord. But from a young, me drop around Italian, you see how they move and know certain ways, some of them attitudes and that, you know?
Yes, but Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic and Ray, even though in a Jamaica, it did a spring from a Moravianish kind of Christian church. Cause even the church I remember from my youth was a Christian Moravian, I believe it was called. You know what I say? Stood on pan a tough judgment ball church chair and a mash up man body certainly as a tile. You know, pass sleep on your mother lap the way so boring and one bag of in the name of the Lord and I frighten you.
For real.
I'm glad me sleep out no fight still. So from my youth, them thing they never did really hold I and I majesty. And when you come on the day with the white to them, you know a lot of the black people, them attitude is kind of the inferiority complex, servient for white folks and all that. And you come on as a youth, you know, I never have any hiccups about myself and identity in terms of being a black and proud of my blackness. But when you buck up these white folks, they might try to stick it to you. Some things where a bounce off, where I want to throw a word, but it a bounce off, you know, a stick. But you recognize it, it's not a good thing. They might try to style you as and treat you, and you say, but wait, that's not right, or not nice, man. Something not right in the earth, yeah. People have this dark complexion, it come like we get treated different. And then you have friends or this or that, when the white folks, them come around, you see, them try speak softer, nicer. People where you might know, where you say, yo, my youth, why go on and talk hard with some hardcore patois with you? When whitey come around, they turn soft and, yes, and hey, and I say, but why go on all tough back patois man turn a some soft cupcake when whitey come out? And it's weird, you know? So, some reason through spiritual powers and energy, and I end up library time. Cause, you know, it's about, say, junior high-ish kind of time or high school, maybe grade 9, my lord. And then time there, you know, as youth, you get rebellious. Man, skip out some like a boring judgment bar class, you know? You have security guard at the school, something you dip on the front, them tell you if you got your class and rush you on certain thing and this or that and and at that time when me that skip, come like the rest of my brethren, them, then I'm gonna fit them class. So if you hide out from the security, them manning up all got the library, my lord. You know what I mean? I say go chill out and this or that. And I was always, I would say, a youth that never did shy away from like books and knowledge. I never hate that. I never mind reading and all that. I was very adept at reading and all these things. Never had any trouble this or that. So I just happen to go browse through the library and, you know, go find a local book figure pick. And as a Jamaican brap, when you look, it just so happens I look at Marcus Garvey book, my lad. And the book wasn't so even vast in terms of pages. You know? I forget exactly how much pages because it's been so long. But I just remember reading it, my lad, and the local energy where the book give off in terms of a black pride and a hint with 1 and 2 Marcus Garvey quotes and a few in philosophy I went stand for, my lord. It wasn't like the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey and them kind of book. It's a very thin book. But the energy where the book give me is just like, hey, certain look of vibes I experience with the white people, them friend or this or that, my lord. The man I hit it right upon the money in the terms of the understanding card, the experience in certain things. It's like, hey, this man in this book here go through the same look of vibes when me notice as well. If you notice that we not get treated right, and anytime you come in at the presence of white man, you come like you have to kind of bow down or turn down your thing. You have to appease them on certain thing and that. And they never nice. Because I'm like, why you have to do that? And as you go through time or that, you get more exposed to the thing to hear about slavery and this or that. Growing up in Jamaica, I look a short period of time. I never did know nothing about that. Jamaica is a black island. You might box on look high color people, half-breed, light skin, you know, and I raised from Manchester, what they now call Galchester and Ray. So next door was St. Elizabeth, and it is a parish of Jamaica that have a lot of high color people, a lot of descendants of the slave masters, and also mixed breed people kind of thing, and within different time like World War II, maybe even World War I, some of those people come to Jamaica as a safe haven because it is a British colony. So during certain times of war now, when certain people end up caught up in the war or innocent or kind of thing, British find certain colony for them, if you can house them. So Jamaica was one of that place. So you have Germans in a Jamaica, you have Irish in a Jamaica, Dutch, you have various different Europeans in a Jamaica to come there, to come settle. Even Jews you would have find in a Jamaica for such time, my lord, different from even the East Indian and the Chinese. So just like the motor yard, Jamaica, a land of many peoples kind of thing. But it's predominantly black. So I never really I rub shoulder that much with white folks as much, even though I did young, but there's none of that vibes. Is foreign. I come and experience that disdain for the blackness and getting put in your place, say, oh, you're not the said as we based off of the treatment, my lord. So it was like a breath of fresh air, because the book of Marcus Garvey was more relating to me than my parents. Because even the parents had the local kind of kiss ass, if you will, kind of vibes, my lord. Feel glad them come off foreign and want you to have a mind like you're lucky, you get on the Jamaican, you know what I say? You get the opportunity, and I say give thanks, but like what me I got to worship for it, you know? So study the look of Marcus there, he put a thing in my heart where he just carve and say, yo, like this man, me and this man is one and the same. Yeah. And one thing lead to a next inspiration, and through a brother of mine, when it go to Ethiopian Orthodox, and them the time they when my brother that go to Ethiopian Orthodox, he was inspired through the music of reggae music, Bob Marley and thing. Even when I'm nickname is Bob, kind of aspire for even DJ and write lyrics and these things. But naturally, with most things, it's just like once I look for God, the common sense is I go be like, oh, I'm looking for God, make me go to church. So it was the same within the Rasta with my brother at that time, older brother, where it's just like, okay, Bob Marley and Rasta and that, if I and I go be a Rasta, where the first place we start, let me go Ethiopian Orthodox, because it's a unique and separate, different kind of Christianity from Western Christendom, Roman Catholic. And in addition to that, Rastafari, the man himself, that is his particular religion and the religion of Ethiopia. So it's just like a common sense. So, oh, mega Rasta, mega Orthodox, to learn the way of that. And even my brother eventually going through Orthodox, since a certain little thing never really resonate, because the Orthodox differed from the concept of Rastafari, certain of the things that we have. While certain of the traditions and the biblical, historical traditions is very similar, this mindset of Rastafari and consciousness that Rastafari are working through the inspiration of Marcus Garvey and other ones like Bob Marley are working to. The Ethiopian church wasn't really having that, in the sense where the premise where the church set up on is an orthodox faith towards, we say, Jesus or Christian, this or that. So it was not really with the times and the movement, because it's serving a purpose from 2,000 years ago concept of God. If you hold that, even through the wars and Islam and different things, Ethiopia hold that. Bakala, Ottawa, Theodorus, various one, Emperor Johannes, various ones will hold that faith from the Ethiopian Solomonic dynasty rise, my lord. But when I can recognize His Imperial Majesty, the King of Kings, Lords of Lords, God incarnate, you know, while we know there's an almighty God and an unseen God, we know God manifests and take on the form of man, you know,
Why?
to reign.
I pray why Rasta joined the Ethiopian Orthodox Church?
Well, I can only answer that for myself, my lord, personally. But my opinion in terms of why Rasta, because even while my brother was at the church, and even to this very day, I have a younger brother, that may I said older brother that joined the Orthodox Church. Because me have 7 brothers in total, 6 within the one mother, and 1 outside, and 1 sister outside as well. But with the one mother, 6 brothers. So I am the 5th out of the 6.
See.
But that specific brother, based off reasoning, they want even reason what they said, Yossahawk there. because he was the priest at that time, the Yosahok. So certain reasoning him bring to Yosahok to say, hey, how come on Ray and the king is that or that, but they don't reverence the king and certain thing or this or that? Because the man come to Orthodox to be Rasta. And when they bring certain Rasta culture sentiments, it's like, when I really deal with that, we're just holding to the Orthodox tradition, which is some of the values is within Rasta, but it's not the full Rasta concept. It's holding to a more 2,000 years ago to the present Theoado Christ concept. We say Christ did die upon cross and these things. And while that is fine and it's great that they hold a unique Ethiopian tradition, I transition from that. No different from one's transition from the biblical John the Baptist and the end time there and take on the faith of a Christ 2,000 years ago. Is no different than Rasta in this time transition from just that 2,000 years ago Christ to a modern day God amongst we incarnate, which is his imperial majesty. So while some stick with the 2000, Rasta take on the 2,000 years ago Christ and still recognize Christ in this modern age. So while we acknowledge the Orthodox is still moving forward, because life doesn't stop, spiritually doesn't stop, it's proactive. So we move with the prophecy and we move with the times, and we recognize here Rastafari in this time incarnation. Once again, the unseen God is always there. Hence his imperial majesty, pray to God and all these things, just like any other man or human being, because they want to pray to him, self of self, the God within, the said God within I, the unseen God. But we know they want to take on the flesh to represent that character of God on the earth, I and I, if you can see within a human form. No different from the Christ in the sense of anybody will confess that God never incarnate and come in the flesh is of an antichrist. Because God take on the flesh. God is more than flesh, but God is also flesh. You know?
But the church now recognize his majesty as Christ, and them not recognize him as God either. See? So
yeah. So okay, go through.
Yeah, so how Rasta now, see, because the church is one said that the church uphold a Eurocentric type of Christian thing when them have image of Michelangelo and Caesar Borgia and these guys depicted to be Christ. You know?
Well, as far as I know, that is something that come about as of late. That is not the historical standard with Ethiopia. That is over the centuries, political influence through the Roman Catholic Church and these things.
Why would I compromise now? Why come all the way so far and would I compromise? Because remember, the history of Ethiopia and Rome, Italy. Rome always try to conquer Ethiopia, and it's because Rome believe in itself that it has some spiritual connection and spiritual authority over the world. There are some spiritual say, right? But Ethiopia was always that place in Africa, along with probably Kemet as well, Zayn and Nubia and these other places where spirituality is concerned. Them would have probably consider the theologian place or college or university where you would have to visit before you even consider about Rome. You see me, I say you probably would have considered going to Lalibela, Zane, or one of them places they open in a some rock somewhere in Ethiopia, or you're gone in a Kemet, or you're gone in a ancient Nubia, Sudan and these places. You see me, I say? I deal with African spirituality. But the people them are cling to a Western thing now, which was always opposition was always opposed to Rome. So to embrace Rome philosophy and Rome ideology, it is a big compromise in my eyes.
Yes, most definitely. Because Syria, Jerusalem, in the ancient world, you have the city of Alexandria there in Egypt, where various libraries and things, but that was destroyed within a certain century. But Ethiopia originally to get a lot of their teachings in regards to even the say Christianity through the Coptic, and Coptic is just to say Egyptian then Christianity. Within the scripture, say Christ did come at Egypt and various things, and the Coptics were holders of sacred knowledge and even sacred science, not just within Christianity, but just within Christ. Spirituality, we basically consciousness and having to do with God, and that basically just merge with the prophecy of a Messiah coming and all these things. And then when Rome now did even colonize Egypt, and then even Britain after, a lot of knowledge, a lot of that, you still had the keepers and the priests of certain sacred knowledge, and they respected them because they're elders on these things. So when they have even the councils during specific time when Rome did occupy Egypt and these things, and they have their council of Nicaea and the council of this and that, they come to the agreement of the one Christian faith within a Christ, but they differed based off of the nature in Christ. While the Roman them were looking at a two nature within Christ, we say God is like the divine spirit, but then it's also a separate man. So the divine spirit and the physical man are separate. But within Ethiopia now, their faith is like we say, are the one man and the one spirit as the one. There's no two divine spirit and then the physical man separate kind of thing. So now the whole Orthodox faith coming in, and that go with the Russian Orthodox, the Greek Orthodox faith, but Ethiopia one of the original in terms of the Orthodox faith, but it was spanned specifically those lines. And then when Ethiopia, the King Izana become one of the first emperors that can take on the the whole kingdom of Ethiopia, they know at that time Abyssinia, Aksum, they come take on and become a formal Christian country, because the head of state now become Christian. The similar to like how Constantine did basically can take on the Christian concept as well within the Roman Catholic and start the Holy Roman Empire, when they take on the Pope and give certain powers to the popes, and that reign from them the time to even the present. But a lot of Ethiopia's authorization to do certain things was coming from the Coptic. They didn't have certain autonomy, but during the king's time, they received certain autonomy, and did a reign out when them could have their own archbishop, instead of getting an archbishop from other places to come there and be a representative overseeing how them carry out their Christian culture within the Coptic sense. And they were maintaining that faith, that is the Orthodox faith and the Theological faith within Old Testament of Christianity. Because when you look at the Western Roman Catholicism, you see this more clean shaven, pants are short, this and that. When you come to Ethiopia, you're seeing the turbans, you're seeing the robe. These are the attires of the ancients, the Moses and the Aaron and, the Levites and these things. And even Bobo Shanti today, you see, take on these attire. And you can't even read about it in scripture. It's not new. The Bible speaks of turbans, and fine linen and various attire of the Israelites. So Ethiopia was keeping with those tradition and still is to this day. But within the fine line now of, the nature of the God concept still exists, because that is the faith of the Ethiopian with different from the Roman Catholic. But through war, influence, economical, political, and money, because we know so the king is one of the defenders of the faith will take on the church and become head of the church and administer certain rules to the church in addition to the constitution writing it for Ethiopia and these things, my lord, and balancing both of those realms within the Ethiopia. If you appease the church, because they were a staple within Ethiopia from a long time. They were the ones teaching, they were the educated ones. More time when you go to learn within Ethiopia, just like even the world, it was mostly true. Church was the school. Church was the school. It wasn't like a separate school. It's just the other day them take out praying in schools and these things and make schools separate from church and religion and these things. But in the past, it was one. So the church had a lot of power. And also the monarchy had a lot of power, because they had the army and they had the this or that. The church had land dedicated to that, and the monarchy, through the feudalism type of vibe, they control the land as well. So all these things were being balanced, and Ethiopia was a place that was, half to itself. It was a mysterious place. Because while you even did have the Sudan and these places, which was original Ethiopia, before the upper Ethiopian highlands of today, what we know as Ethiopia, where them places did have more bush and certain things, my lord. The prominent place of Ethiopia was Aksum. That was northern Ethiopia, northeastern Ethiopia, and that was more known as the modern day Ethiopia, where we know now even where the capital there, that is of Addis Ababa. Those places were bush. But today them places they get chopped up and develop and still developing as we speak. So as time go by, the different dynamics, you have Islam rising up over there with Muhammad in the 7th century, and even outside of just to say the religion of Muhammad, you had Arabs. They were invaders and conquerors as well. And with even the rise of Islam that spread throughout Africa, taking over even many territories that Rome previously had taken over with for them Roman Catholicism, you had the Red Cross, which is basically the Crusaders, onward Christian soldier Crusaders, and the Calvary and Victory, which was wartime, because they were spreading Christianity throughout the world, conquer with state and religion. And that goes all the way back to Constantine, where them said that the man did have this dream or a vision, even though they did persecute early Christians, but one day him have a vision to say, he see a cross in a vision, and like something tell him say, conquer with this symbol. And it was the symbol of a cross. So hence they put the big old red cross on them shield as for them symbol, where them go around the world and conquered. And they conquered vast territory from east to west. So Islam, Western Catholicism, Roman Catholic, and all of those spreading. And while what that was happening, you had this only in Africa, even though Sudan did have some Christians as well, but that wasn't Orthodox Christian. They was under the Roman influence. But the upper Ethiopian highlands, they were practicing a Christ faith of God before Christ, during Christ, and even after Christ. So the adaptation of the faith of a Christ was pretty easy for them in terms of the levity, having the Orthodox lifestyle. The king family come turn Christian. So they were reigning that out unbothered in Ethiopia for centuries. And they had different time periods of war and that where they're defending the faith. But as time go on, technology, you had the invention of the gun, hence you have the Italy them invading in the battle of Ottawa during Menelik II's time, and then you have them coming after with Mussolini there, and the continuing, because it was always the dragon that Rome represent, and he's always, like Revelation say, trying to swallow up the woman in travail, and the woman representing the nation of Ethiopia, you know. So he's trying to swallow up that nation of people, which is carrying who? The Christ, the God, the faith, the original culture. Not just limited to Ethiopia, the geographical Ethiopia, but that is the whole of Africa. Because all of Africa is a spiritual place. All of black people is a spiritual culture, and is a Christ people. Even if they might use different names or labels to define themselves. If you study the etymology and go into the detail, you'll find out, say, well, it's just different name, but it's pretty much the said concept, a concept of a God within man, or a concept of just God in general and spirituality and connecting with different things. But Ethiopia was always surrounded to a degree. Even today and present, it is a landlocked country. So it was always surrounded by outsiders with different outlook and different faith and different things, and that lend to different influence. And even when His Imperial Majesty did a journey through the earth, and His Imperial Majesty is an advanced, forward, progressive thinking emperor. So he represented also Menelik II as well, but even more so His Imperial Majesty, where them reach out to the world, say the railroad is being created, the telephone network, playing these things, the rise in technology during the 1900s. It was a big explosion of technology within that specific time. So that was opening up Ethiopia to the world, and the king, being a wise man as well as Menelik, was noticing that, hey, if we don't really look out more into the world and see what's going on and be aware, it's going to be increasing threats coming to Ethiopia, and the preservation of Ethiopians' sovereignty that's going to be up in the ear, because we're seeing ammunition, we're seeing Gatling gun, we're seeing, technology is increasing, and it's giving the outside world more power, and that is a potential threat to Ethiopia's sovereignty. So the king did go out and observe and see certain things. Hence, with the World War II, I tell Ethiopia to prepare and even give them a heads up based on what's going on, and that call was, pretty much taken for granted, especially with the Ethiopian history of having warriors with sword and, spears, and fighting lions and ferocious warriors that defend themselves from long time, unconquerable. So that was taken for granted, and many lives were lost, but Ethiopia still maintained their sovereignty. But though they defended their sovereignty on the physical battlefield, the diplomacy of religion and political arena and social welfare and these things, my lord, and money, political system and money. That's why, once again, His Imperial Majesty is the one who even bring Ethiopia with a constitution and these things. And these are like a prerequisite to become a fully recognized nation amongst the other nations within the League of Nations, and even to be a member of the League, one of the only, if not the only, of African nations that was allowed to be a member of the League of Nations, based on taking certain provisions and aligning with certain foreign and European standard of doing things that a lot of other African nations under colonial rule was not doing, and they couldn't have, because they not even have them freedom either. So Ethiopia was the only free land within that sense.
Only free state.
Only free state. But it's still eroding, because the outsiders, them, is relentless, and Ethiopia is like the pearl of Africa, the jewel of Africa within its wealth of history and everything where it hold. And it's like the preservation of I&I, because the wealth of I&I history and culture is within Ethiopia, whether it's the Highland, whether it's Sudan, whether it's Kemet, because all that eastern region along the Nile can be considered Ethiopia. The whole of Africa could be considered Ethiopia, and it's synonymous with Africa. It's synonymous with Ike Buell and those specific names or titles that come for label what we know as Africa today. But Ethiopia, in some readings, they say that Ethiopian, there's 7,000 years of history and all these things, my lord, because it goes back way past the Christ and the whole Christian vibe is highlighting Ethiopia within like the past 1 and 2 millennia. But Ethiopia's wealth of history and culture goes back way past that. But that is what mostly highlighted as a result of the Christianity and the other outside worlds highlight Ethiopia more now because, African nation, it's within the realm of one of the first we can take on for the family Christianity and these things, even though it's its own unique denomination or type of Christianity. But Rome was always trying to erode that because, like you say, they want to have the full power while they're claiming Christ. It is a white supremacy Christ. It's not a peace and love Christ. It's a white supremacy agenda. So basically, they might use this Christ notion to say they might bring Christ to the world. But it's really a white supremacy agenda. Because they might conquer people land. They slave out black people within Christian name. The Pope them is the ones that authorize the slaving of black people. Authorizing the Columbus and that figure cross land. And when them find native Indian, they weren't even recognized, as nothing worthy. Primitives just take what they land. And that's from Australia. Everywhere where they go, every walk of life, them do the same thing. These people are primitive, they're godless, they don't know nothing, them are heathen. Take what they land, take what they go like that. And that was the excuse that they use to subjugate people and conquer people and force on Jesus to them. While people were there living in peace and love and not troubling nobody and have the natural mystic of God in them heart, irrespective of knowing about no Jesus, this or that. Because God exists before man can learn of a Jesus, Jesus or the Christ, then forget Jesus part, but it was just a highlight to say a God incarnate within this specific time. But from creation, man was always seeking God, and God was always in man, and man look out at themselves and just needed to looking at themselves and have love amongst each other to know God. So that Christ, inner Christ concept was always there. The incarnation of the man just represented a physical form there where one can see for themselves as an example of who they could be themselves. And even that become a problem because one city, one man reign out of liberty and lose themselves as well. Instead of them look and say we can emulate that, them lose themselves and become dogmatic and fanatical with Christ. And Christ was not for that because that was not the purpose of Christ. Christ come to be a reflection to man to know say, hey, what me do, you can do. Walk in this light. Be Christ-like. The Christ way in me or the Christ in you. Even though me is a divine spirit, we come to represent that for awakening and quaking people. But it's to recognize the God within themselves. But they may not still look out at themselves. And religion originally was erected to bring people closer to God and Christ. But it failed.
Rastafari,
But
reality still. We have about 10 minutes left on the program, but here what me ask there.
Sure.
Is Majesty saying set up the Ethiopian World Federation as we hear the brethren on the program last night.
Okay, the brother. Okay.
The question is why people think that the Ethiopian World Federation is set up for Rastas when Rasta, even though Rasta is black people of the world, Rasta have a different ideology in terms of government in terms of social and political affairs, Zine, Rasta outlook is totally different. So, why people always think that Rasta need to be a part of the Ethiopian World Federation. I'm not saying there shouldn't be, I'm just saying why people think Rasta need to be a part of it when Rasta already have a mandate and an outlook for themselves already. We're not trying to take on another identity.
Yeah, well, Ethiopian World Federation, in my opinion, though it's a name and a title, it's not necessarily another identity per se. How I see it, it is a body and an organ was set up and authorized by His Imperial Majesty for a specific thing. It is a vehicle was supposed to be used to further the mission of uniting African people, not just in Africa but all over the world. So it's almost within the similitude of the AU, or in His Imperial Majesty time, the OAU. So while you have at home in Africa a specific organization of African unity, you have the brothers them abroad, once they want to come to Ethiopia for help fight with the war, show them compassion for the struggle and passionate. So His Imperial Majesty send forth His love and His grace and embrace that by saying, you know what? People out here saw demand and love and want share and contribute to the development of Africa and Ethiopia. I'm going to set a branch or give the authorization for one of the personnel we have for going to America and set up a branch there. So one can get a closeness to Ethiopia. In the same way, almost like the church, when delegates were sent from the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the ones can get more intimate with, a different version, the Ethiopian version then of Christianity. And once again, the church was the main school and teachings of things. So while religious teachings was in there, it wasn't primarily just only religious. Because if you're going to learn the Amharic, it's the church that's going to come with the Amharic. Maybe you're not showing you with something, it come from the Ge'ez to the that, because the church would deal with the language. That was the formal language issuer within Ethiopia of the language. It was the church. So a lot of the teachings and understandings and holding of the culture and traditions of Ethiopia, it has to do with the church, whether it's religious or not, because it's not all just religious. Some of it is cultural and spiritual that goes even before the Orthodox Church did even exist, are erected then within a Christ concept, because the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is holding concepts that predate the manifestation of a 2,000 years ago Christ. So it does become the hub of learning. So the EWF, in my opinion, was just a secular version of that for unite black people, just like you now have the UNIA within Marcus Mazia Garvey that was supposed to do the same thing. So same way, just like with the Ethiopian Orthodox, where I wanted to say, oh, me I go be Rastafari, Ethiopian Orthodox Rastafari, oh, make the connection. Same way EWF, His Imperial Majesty authorized it. So it would have been, you have a respect and love for the Emperor, see him as God, him put forth this thing. It seems like it would only be natural, say Rastafari go into that and use that vehicle. And I totally agree. It should have been, it should, and we did use it in some form of the ways, but it could have been used more to its fuller potential, and it still has that potential, and it still could be used to fulfill some of the mission that we have. But like I was saying last night, it still doesn't hold the full circumference of Rasta ideals and objectives, because it's taking on all of Africa. Pan-Africanism is to recognize that there's various different tribes and we live in peace. It's not for force or nothing for nobody. So it's within that sort of context. And while that is fine on a neutral fundamental level,
we still not going to undermine few specific goal and objectives of Rastafari, which is through a unique outlook on life, ideology, and theocracy. That's why it's lending to say we would still need something within for ourselves as Rastafari to fulfill through a goal and ambitions. Because Rastafari represent a Christ kingdom on earth. It is not a regular political government like you don't have the Democrats and Republican, JLP and this, that kind of thing. Even though you have the similitude of that and maybe
Theocracy.
It is a theocracy. It is a theocracy. It don't even be feel a branch of like the Solomonic dynasty. Because we know so that is a theocracy within itself, hence the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and all these titles, you know, say a God that upon the throne and the whole legacy of the Queen of Sheba and Solomon and King David and Melchizedek and Abraham, all that history within Ethiopia all the way up to the present, my Lord. And we recognize and acknowledge that as Rastafari, and know say we is the latest branch and up-to-date version of that reality manifested in the culture of Rastafari. And we are the Hebrew Israelite that was scattered to the four corners of the earth, and we're coming forward to itself. But things and time change, so we take on different identity and name, but we're still connecting back with the roots and identifying with the different name. As you see, while I go through the earth, America and various places, black people rise up and acclaim themselves as Israelite. But we as Rastafari was done doing that from a long time. And we were healing one of the head of the Israelite and Christ as King and God with his imperial majesty. Everything we see ones that try to do right now with the Hebrew Israelite, Rasta done do that decades ago from 1930. When we recognize his imperial majesty, the black Jew, not even Jewish, the black Jew Christ King that reign and rule over Ethiopia, my Lord. So we don't make that connection decades ago for the Hebrew Israelites. But now we call ourselves by our God's name because we recognize the King as the God incarnate. You know, the similar to though you don't see Christ incarnate as a God incarnate for in the flesh. Why, you know, Haile Selassie is not Jesus, but is a God incarnation within our time. So we recognize that faith and call ourselves after the man name, which is Rastafari.
Good morning.
So
Blessed. Hail Celestia, Jah Rastafari. Good evening, everyone. Good morning. Whatever. It's an honor to be here, to be speaking. This is Ashley. Okay, sorry about that. But I wanted to piggyback. Christianity has always, since I've been here, mashed up. They only teach about giving money. That's the only thing. Like people like to club hop, I like to church hop. I like to go to different churches to see what everybody's on. And when the government infiltrated on the church, everybody be on the same page. It doesn't matter how many churches I go to, they're preaching the same thing because they have I think it's like a book they have to go by. So it's like programmed. And mostly it'd be about money, like giving money, nothing about building up, nothing about self-worth, nothing about love. It's just give. And you have brothers in the pulpit busting sweat for $1. I mean, going hard. They're not doing any teaching. I'm kind of happy that God shut down most of the churches. Here in America, most of the churches are shut down. After the COVID, it eliminated a lot of churches. So we have empty buildings everywhere. America looks like a third world country. It looks very, very poor. It looks bad. But that's the consequences when you don't follow God's law. God will swoop in and take the temple down. They was playing church. They were not doing any teaching about reparation and going home. It was, when I was a kid, I remember the Holy Spirit used to be in the building. It was like the lights get dim and the Holy Spirit would come in, and I used to always go in the temple early when men would pray the church in. And you know, the kids ain't supposed to be in there, but they would allow me to come in there. And I love like watching the men pray the church in, like sanctify the building. It was cool to me because it was like you could feel the Holy Spirit in them. And as I got older, it's like no more of that. The Holy Spirit, like, it wasn't welcome anymore. A preacher that I had over me, he was removed because he was sleeping with the deacon's wife. They removed the preacher but didn't remove the deacon. I thought that was weird. The whole thing should have been torn down and, you know, rebuilt. But he was doing some teaching, but once the laws came in, me and the kids, we could preach his sermon for him because he repeated the same stuff over and over again. So we knew what he was gonna say. And it was just, the whole vibe was different and it was weird. And we started losing a lot of our peers too at that time because it's like they allowed Satan to come into the building and just was on attack. I mean, like a raging bull just on an attack, just wanted any and everybody. And I seen a lot of families get destroyed right there in the church house. People probably would consider me a church girl, but I wanted to see what the works were. What was the people doing? And it was contrary to the word. And when I used to speak up, they would put me out. I done got put out so many churches, it's ridiculous. Because I would speak up. And some people tell me they not ready for that. How they not ready for that? If you go home and read your book, you'll have some understanding, but it showed me that a lot of people wasn't sitting down reading their book that's been in their house their whole life. And it was crazy to me. You got a whole book that you don't touch, you don't pick up, you don't utilize. Still to this day, it baffles me that people don't pick up that book and read it. I mean, it baffles me. And like, I'll talk to some older people. It's like the older people is the dumbest people ever. And I'm like, God, where they come from? The ones who were putting in the work, they're no longer with us. It's like we left here with people who don't know the word, don't care about the word. Man, it's bad. It's dread out here. I mean, you don't hear nobody praying for people no more. I remember elders used to go in. I love sitting back watching the elders. I always hung around the elders. When they go whoop them demons, it'd be funny to me because them demons get up.
We have about 5 more minutes left on the platform still. We kind of gone over a lot of time. But what type of church do you talk about?
Sir? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, what type of church?
What type of church? It was a Baptist church. A regular Baptist church, but once I got older, I started going to all different churches. Just seeing what's what. I was hungry. So I had to feed my spirit, man. So This would occur like after church, or just the ladies would hold meetings at their homes and stuff like that. They don't even do that no more. I mean, it's nobody praying no more. It's dread out here. It's bad. Like I listen to like some of my peers. Everybody call on me, so I'm kind of like pushed into an elder position to pray for people. But people don't pray for people anymore. They prey on people. You know, instead of warfaring, they'll sit up and laugh and gossip about the person who going through whatever they're going through. How I was raised, the sisters would come together and pray and find a solution to the problem. Now it's just like ha ha ha, let her fall. It's not no helping hands or anything anymore. It's dread.
Why you think it's like that?
Why do I think it's like that? Well, a lot of people, since I've been home home for about a month or so, they tell me that they wish that they would have took the road that I took. I don't know why I took the road I took, but from birth I was told that I was chosen. So I had that protection over me. So I had to be around the elders. So I was protected and I was taught very well. A lot of people had that same opportunity, but they wanted to run the streets. You get what I'm saying? They rather go to the dark side. When the elders was already teaching us don't go to that side, but still people went there anyway. You know, I listened because I saw what was on the dark side. You know, I was with the elders all the time, so I seen how they warfare. I knew that their enemy was real and he wanted our souls. And once you lose your life, you can't get it back. So I wanted to be a warrior for my people. So I stayed with the elders. I don't know why I wanted to be a warrior, but I seen strength and I saw power sitting amongst the elders, and I wanted that.
So what from the eyes and now as a warrior?
I can't. I don't know why I can't hear you. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, what side the eyes on now as a warrior? Rastafari side or the Christian side?
Oh, both. I mean, I'm taking in both. I thank God for it. Rastafari made me very bold, and I'm able to stand up. I was more on the shy side, but bold. But now it's like, hey, I'm out here. What's up? I'm not scared anymore. At first I was, because a lot of people tend to turn on you. You know, they vessels. And so you have to fight a lot.
So when you say you're so
Physically,
scared,
mentally.
what is it you were scared of?
The attention.
Huh?
I knew it was, I always was told about what I am and what it was going to be. It was just the attention. I think basically I don't like to be the center of attention. But God placed me front line. So as a frontline soldier, you have to be the center of attention.
You have to be on the front line. Yeah. Totally agree, my sister.
I'm more of a person in the background. I like background and let somebody else, but he got me back, middle, front. And so with that, you hold a lot of positions. And so it's just conquering my own fears within myself.
See, so like talking on the phone now, you're talking about publicly.
Yes. I was trained for it my whole life. I always did radio interviews, but I always had my grandma with me. My grandma just passed in November, so I don't have her with me. So I'm walking by myself. You know, I don't have that person like rallying me on to do this. So now I have to stand up by myself and do it. You know, I have to encourage myself.
Pause. Yeah, man, self-confidence. So, would you say is Rastafari make you have this confidence now within yourself?
It was always there. It's just it brought out more. You know, with my stewardship, it brought it out more. It was gonna come out anyway, but I wasn't ready. But it's not on your time. We're on God's time. So you have to keep everything that you gotta move self out the way and allow God to do the work.
Not try.
And it feels good to have a team rallying around me. I thank God for my friends in the Rastafari district. I mean, they have been a blessing to me. They keep me strong mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I always get hymns to encourage me to keep going. You know, even though from jump off top that I already was told it's gonna be some negativity in there, but you got to filter it out. And so I had to do a lot of filtering because some people will forget the mission and just make it about self-gratification.
Yeah, man, seriously.
And so with that, I just have to stand firm, and I thank them for teaching me to stand firm, staying strong in this time. I thank them for everything that they have done and doing and will continue to do.
Rastafari. Yeah, man, we just pray more strength for the eye and the eye journey. And, you know, just continue. Reading, you know, the word as the eye say, and continue growing. But, you know, give thanks for the call, my sister.
Thank you, guys.
Final call for the night. So, you know, we give thanks.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for listening.
Yeah, man.
And thank you, YardSlangz.
YardSlangz Clothing. Yeah, one should go out there and support them.
Thank you, guys. Thank everybody.
Yes, sir. Manners and respect. Yes, honorable family. Yeah, man, give thanks. Royal Art of Celebration again. You know, to one and all. You know, give thanks to everyone patient listening. And, you know, everyone interacting and sharing, you know, whether it's on the phone line or the chat room. Yes, honorable prophet. Yeah, the Empress just forward in on the line. Yeah, I never cut off the eye, you know. Nothing like that at all. Yeah, so But we give thanks, Majesty. You know, we give thanks to everyone who share and contribute. It's always an honor and it's always a pleasure. Seeing 136 anniversary Earth Strong for the Honorable Prophet Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Zane, Royal Altar celebration again. Holy Emmanuel King Selassie Jah, Rastafari, Marcus Selassie Jah, Rastafari. Bless and sanctify and bless I and I. Yeah, man. Honor and a pleasure, my Lord and Empress. Yeah. Time to open up your third eye. Full time. Time to rise. Time to open up your third eye. Full time you start to realize that all this time they've been telling us one bag of lies. Telling us a God in the sky that for you and I die. Jenko Jesus, oh meek, oh mild. These things they taught us from we were a child. False indoctrinating the innocent mind. Mind controlling the signs of the time. Android, cyborg, AI, all these things combined. All these things combined might sound like a rhyme, but the evidence reality is right before your eyes. Under no disguise, the age of Aquarius is the shifting of the time. Sun, moon, stars, the planet in the cosmos align. As the cosmos align, low vibration frequency decline. Will strengthen your mind. Access to knowledge, information from the Almighty Creator Divine. Creator Divine. The time arise. I feel time for rise. The time appointed, because I'm anointed. The time arise. I feel time for rise. The time appointed, because I'm anointed. Time to
YardSlangz, wait there. Somebody say something about Jamaican patois in a style and fashion. Yes, to Ras, me a search the other day online and buck up on a new, authentic Jamaican clothing brand. Wagwan are the latest and newest one. In a t-shirt, hoodie, slippers and woman's bag. And a whole heap of other things I'm not even mention. Search online for more information. YardSlangz, hit them with a bang. YardSlangz, wait there. Somebody say something about Jamaican patois in a style and fashion. Yes, to Ras, me a search the other day online and buck up on a new, authentic Jamaican clothing brand. Wagwan are the latest and newest one. In a t-shirt, hoodie, slippers and woman's bag. And a whole heap of other things I'm not even mention. Search online for more information. YardSlangz, hit them with a bang. YardSlangz, wait there. Somebody say something about Jamaican patois in a style and fashion. Yes, to Ras, me a search the other day online and buck up on a new, authentic Jamaican clothing brand. Wagwan are the latest and newest one. In a t-shirt, hoodie, slippers and woman's bag. And a whole heap of other things I'm not even mention. Search online for more information. YardSlangz, hit them with a bang. YardSlangz, wait there. Somebody say something about Jamaican patois in a style and fashion. Yes, to Ras, me a search the other day online and buck up on a new, authentic Jamaican clothing brand. Wagwan are the latest and newest one. In a t-shirt, hoodie, slippers and woman's bag. And a whole heap of other things I'm not even mention. Search online for more information. YardSlangz.